What's the good word, y'all? DKB here, and we have some more news on Derek Carr. The most recent updates are actually fairly entertaining, in my opinion. The first thought that comes to mind with Derek Carr and the meeting that came about over the weekend, for starters, it was said that the meeting went really, really well, actually, from both sides' perspective. Derek Carr's brother David Carr gave us, some additional insights into the thinking of Derek Carr and kind of what potential timeline that we're looking like. Quoting that, they understand there's a lot of pieces in place with the New York Jets, from the defense to the weapons, pretty much plug and play with a starting caliber quarterback, and you have a team that looks like it's off to the rise. There were questions about what the new coaching staff would look like, what play calling and things like that would look like, because there was a little bit of a revelation, again, provided by David Carr, that a lot of the issues when Josh McDaniels took place with David Carr stemmed from the fact that he stripped Derek Carr of a lot of the responsibilities he was used to, with being able to audible and make some of the call-outs at the line of scrimmage. And so I'm sure that was a concern he wanted to be alleviated. But coming out of the weekend, it seems like both sides are on the same page. They would love to be able to operate with each other, which in fact was almost a direct quotable by David Carr in regards to how Derek Carr felt about the situation. And we know that Derek wants to take time, and it seems like the timeline is before March 15th hits, when free agency would officially begin. He wants to take whatever additional visits he'll have by then in order to, determine what the best spot is going to be. So we know the Saints are interested. We're interested. The Panthers are interested, although I heard that they will kind of fall back until either the price tag lowers for Derek Carr, or maybe some candidates fall out. You could look at teams like the Titans, different things of that nature. But most recently, we have the Hall of Fame claims, apparently, that the New York Jets put out there into the universe, and, wanted to keep on Derek Carr's mind, and the fact that if you win in New York, we're saying that you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're already going to be absolutely legendary across the globe. We've seen, and I just look at the NFL Rookie of the Week awards. There were definitely weeks where I would say there was a better candidate that could have won, and it was really only maybe 2-3 weeks at most if that was the case. But Jets Twitter is undefeated, and so we made it happen. We got a couple extra belts in that, that we can't undeniably say should have belonged to the New York Jets. But I would definitely say we would apply some heavy pressure if Derek Carr is able to bring us a Super Bowl in order to get him into the golden jacket, get him a nice little bust down there in Canton, and solidify a great career for himself. And it made me think, how realistic is that? I don't want us to think that it's an outlandish claim by any measure. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the realistic scenarios, or what the experience would actually look like in order for him to potentially get into the Hall of Fame. Now, overall, there's 28 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame since the NFL officially merged, and we have the AFC versus the NFC, and of course all the history that came before with the AFL and different things like that. 28 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. The only quarterbacks out of those 28 to reach the Hall of Fame without winning a Super Bowl was Sonny Jurgensen, Jim Kelly, Dan Fouts, Warren Moon, Y.A. Tittle, Frank Tarkenton, and then probably the top of that list, Dan Marino. We're talking 7 guys out of a total of 28, and every year the list gets harder and harder and harder. That's just for who already's in there. Now, when we take a look at guys that in recent history may have an opportunity to reach the Hall of Fame and can either already get there before Derek Carr, or could potentially be in some of the same classes as a Derek Carr would be, we're still looking at a pretty strong list. Tom Brady, Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl. Drew Brees, Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger, Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, we know what he's done. Matt Ryan, he just has a lot of career success. Eli Manning, Super Bowl. New York quarterback, by the way. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford finally got himself one. Carson Palmer, kind of in that Matt Ryan territory. Joe Flacco, Super Bowl. And then we're taking a look still at guys like Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, who, in some various facets, statistically or, honor awards wise, is doing a little bit better than what Derek Carr is doing. And so it's quite a list to, have to compete against. I don't think it's impossible, though. If you get a Super Bowl, then that already puts you up there with the likes of Joe Flacco, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson. And so you're really competing. It doesn't narrow the list down a whole ton, but you start competing with a list that's probably, 6 or 7 deep. We don't know when some of these careers will finish. Keep in mind, he's been in the league longer than guys like Patrick Mahomes has. And, he's not quite in the same vein as guys like a Russell Wilson, a Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers in terms of years. And so he's going to fall just in between. It might end up being a moot point by the time he finishes, but getting a Super Bowl definitely feels like it's going to be the entry point. And from what I understand, we said first ballot Hall of Fame is what we essentially believe he can be if he can bring a Super Bowl in a winning fashion to us. But realistically, I think it's going to take quite a few other honors to maybe trickle into there. Leading the league in passing touchdowns, maybe passing yards, maybe getting himself an All-Pro somehow. Something of that nature just to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. But a Super Bowl is definitely where it's going to start at. I won't say that would make him an unquestioned first. I do think it at least gets him close in that territory. There's only realistically one guy kind of playing right now that you can say maybe 3. The undisputed one is obviously going to be Patrick Mahomes. Matthew Stafford and Russell Wilson are really the only other 2 guys where I could say maybe it's unquestioned that they get in there on the first attempt. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Derek Carr, if he joins the New York Jets, he gets us a Super Bowl. Can he become a first ballot Hall of Famer just off the strength of that championship and whatever else he happens before or after that? It's just helping build onto the legacy. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'll catch you again. Peace. What's the good word?